milestones in the civil rights movement, and even some of the smaller milestones that are pointed out were things that were going on in Mississippi, they were going on in Alabama, they were going on in Florida, and attempts by the Ku Klux Klan and other conservative-leaning individuals to impede progress and to deny persons the opportunity to register and vote. And what we've seen is that eventually the Civil Rights Act was passed and signed by Lyndon Baines Johnson, who had been a Texas Democrat, a senator from the state of Texas, who ultimately became the vice president after the assassination of President John Kennedy in November of 1963. So recognizing these milestones and dates, each time I came upon something in that book, I was able to look back and see in my mind, where was I when that occurred? And having lived through those things in those particular stages, it brings back memories because I lived through that. It's what I was able to tell myself. And it's interesting read because it gives a person a different perspective on all that has, you know, been experienced. A great number of things that we as a nation have gone through. And 1963 was a tumultuous time in the United States of America. And it didn't just happen in 63. There were things beginning in 52 that led up to that. Republican administrations were trying to pass a civil rights bill prior to 1960. And there were individuals in the House and the Senate that stood in the way of those things. But ultimately, we came upon 1964 when the Civil Rights Act was signed by President Johnson, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 transformed things to the point, and it has had to have been reauthorized, you know, every so often. But when you have someone on the Supreme Court who doesn't think that this is, you know, no longer necessary, or they don't believe that, or they believe that it tends to benefit only a certain group of people, and it's not so much just for African Americans that it offers protection. It offers protections for various other groups of people, all people who have the opportunity or who should have the opportunity to go and vote.
You know, and it's very important. Now, one of the things that I would like to mention that is very important for you to know about the individuals who are running. Mm-hmm. Don't go off of hearsay. Yeah. Go off of what you know, what you've seen them do, not off of what you heard them do.
Right. And when you look at what people have already done, one of the buzzwords in the media is the track record. You know, what is this person's, and it's just like a job, you know, what is this person's experience? What have they done prior to this particular, coming out on this particular plateau? And in that sense, you know, we have people who have a history of having worked, you know, on civic projects, having done things to improve the quality of life in neighborhoods. And those are the kinds of people, you know, who have done it, who merit consideration for public office. Because if you have a track record of having already worked on streets and drainage projects, having involved in human rights issues, having been involved in extended travel and giving of your service without expecting anything in return, those are the kinds of people that deserve to be considered, you know, for public office. And one of the things that I advocate for is that individuals who are ready to vote need to be educated on the candidates. They need to be informed on the issues. And our community suffers greatly from procrastination and apathy. Misinformation can get a ride across town before you can hail a cab in New York.
Well, let me ask you, because we have I believe that he's the youngest candidate that's running on the east side of San Antonio, well, here in San Antonio. But does it really matter how young you are, or does it matter how important of knowledge that you have?
I don't believe age really matters. It's the experience that the person brings to, you know, the table, the understanding of the issues. And when you get people look at you and see what you have, what ideas does this person bring that can be useful to make a change in the quality of life in the area. And that's one of the important things that people should be able to look at. And like I say, I look at procrastination and apathy, which are two of the most insidious human faults that serve no real purpose. And what I try to advocate for is, as I say, being educated on the candidates, being informed on the issues, and I also want to see full participation. Join somebody's campaign. Attend a rally of some sort. Donate or help raise money if you can. Volunteer when and where you can, because there are campaigns that need phone bankers, block walkers, or they need drivers to take citizens to go and vote. And then you have to register and vote, although tomorrow is the last day to register to be able to vote in the November election. And last but not least, tell somebody to do the same. Ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, the cousin that ate the last slice of pecan pie at Thanksgiving last year, talk to someone. And if you have family who live in rural areas, tell them about the conversation. You know, share the conversation with them in order to get out the vote. And our churches need to be involved and more involved and have a broad participation, whether it's prayer breakfasts or whether it's luncheons or whether it's some opportunity for them to get together and marshal forces, because the church has long been involved in the voting struggle.
Come on now.
All right?
Say that again. Say that again.
The church has long been involved in the voting rights struggle. So we need to increase their participation in order to get the maximum turnout in the state of Texas. One of the political organizations out there, Battleground Texas, is hopefully is working towards, turning Texas blue in 2016. But the foundation for that timeline, begins in 2014. And what I am hoping that people will do is hear the message that everybody is bringing, not just Gordon Benjamin, not just Elder Lockhart here, not just KROV Radio, because people should be able to tell the difference from a genuine message or one that's cranked up in order to make you feel that good people are not worthy of being elected to public office. There are political action committees that support far right or right-leaning ideas and ideologies, and they're the ones that may not find enough money to fund public education or can't find enough money to fund food stamps, but yet they find $212 billion to go fight a war on the other side of the world.
Come on.
All right? And, it's easy to name names, but I would rather not name names, and let's talk about the ideology of that and what benefit does that have, when you have people who are working and not earning a living wage. All right? It's okay for Congress, whether it's a representative or whether it's a senator, to make, $160,000 a year, $175,000 a year, or whatever that, broad-based, amount might be, but they don't see any purpose in raising the minimum wage. All right? Now you have CEOs who make 300 times what the average worker makes, and you also have this gap in income. There's a 1% versus the 99%. So there are a lot of economic issues. There are a lot of moral issues on the table in this election season, and I think that's where listeners should be, recognizing and cognizant of how these issues come down and affect them. Trickle-down economics is not working in the world. It's not working in the United States of America. It's not working in Texas. It's not working in San Antonio. And people need to be aware of that. And the fight for the living wage is about if you don't want to help people who are working and, still qualified for food stamps, if you don't want to expand Medicaid to help working people have access to health care, and it's not about, it's a government giveaway program. We have paid taxes with this money previously. So the government is not giving anything away. They're just spending money that we've already given them.
November the 4th is your day. So many times we take it from back in the day, and it's simply a little short words that says, it's not what the city can do for you, it's what you can do for the city. And that's to get out and vote. Teenagers, yes. If you're at the age of 18 years old, you can vote, study. Look at the past record. As Brother Gordon said, it's not what you think. It's about the track record of what they've done. Somebody on the east side, somebody in your city needs to bring about a change. We have drugs. We have gang members. We have people who've been incarcerated who are trying to make a change. But you can make a change. All you have to do, look at the track record. Put somebody in office that will bring about a change. Brother Gordon, any last words?
I think that it's important for people to recognize, what value you as an individual have in your community. What will it mean to you in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, or 5 years, the action that you took? The most apathetic thing that happens when people say, oh, I don't vote because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. And that literally is canceling your own voice. It's keeping you from having a voice. And when you make a choice on a candidate, elect the person that speaks for you, not to you or not about you, but that speaks for you. And if you need to register to vote, you can go by the library, you can go by 733 North New Braunfels before 2 o'clock. As long as that voter registration card is postmarked before midnight, October the 6th, then you should get a voter registration card back in the mail in time to vote in November 2014. November the 4th, 2014 is election day, and for those who have already registered to vote, early voting is from October the 20th until October 31st, and we appreciate your voting and taking part in doing your part in this process to improve the quality of life in all of our neighborhoods.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right because we know that you